Welcome to A Trip to the Moon, a pop-up book by J. Scott Winegarner. As a child, Minnie's first love was the man in the moon. The sun stung her eyes and burned her skin, so she slept by day and lived by night, with the man being often her only companion. And so he became as real to her as could be, and she dreamed of one day escaping into his cool embrace. Her second love was the carnival, which brought sounds of adventure and brilliant lights that didn't singe her skin. It was the only time of year she wasn't alone in her nighttime revelry, so it was to her a paradise, and she fell further in love year after year, especially the year she met Ham. Ham was the flying primate, the carnival's star attraction. Minnie was smitten by his act, so stuck around one night after the show. "I want to join the carnival," she told him simply. "I want to fly too." And so she joined the carnival, and Ham taught her everything he knew. Ham was glad to finally have a companion for his lonely life on the road, and Minnie was happy to share the spotlight. The next few years were the happiest of their lives, traveling together cross country, flying closer and closer each night to the moon. But while traveling one night to the next stop in their circuit, massive soldiers surrounded the caravan. They stormed into the trailer of Minnie and Ham and stole them away, torching the rest as they thundered off into the night. They were taken to a laboratory and told they had been chosen for the first moon mission for their experience with high-velocity flight. The training was torturous, their rations meager, and they were forced to live apart, but they endured it with anticipation. For Ham, it was a chance to fly higher than ever. For Minnie, it meant fulfilling a dream. And for them both, it was the promise of just a few nights, alone together on top of the moon. But as it got closer to liftoff, they were told the ship had room for just one. The other would merely be backup in case something were to go wrong. Ham was chosen for his superior skills, of course, but Minnie was consoled by a dream still come true. For the first time in her life, she would be loved back by the man in the moon. The launch was a success, and as the Earth fell away, Ham felt all alone in the multiverse, content for a moment in the solitude of his flight. But as he approached his destination, thoughts of Minnie rushed back to him, and the memory of their waylaid plans dampened the impact of his first few steps on the moon. Ham spent the next few nights gathering samples for the soldiers, and his communications with the command center were broadcast around the globe. He became a hero overnight, and Minnie beamed with pride each time she heard his name in the headlines, certain she could see his smile reflected in the moonlight. But on the day of his scheduled departure, he broadcast a special message. "Let everyone who looks up in the nights to come know that there is some corner of another world that will be forever Ham. Minnie, I love you, but my ship's broke down and I can't come home." He signed off for what would be his final transmission. He spent his last few days in silence as the country mourned the passing of a hero, especially Minnie, who lost not only her beloved Ham, but also her man in the moon. With night now worse than day, Minnie became a recluse, refusing to leave her cage. The soldiers at first took pity, so for a while kept her sheltered and fed, but as she was no longer useful for training, they decided eventually to set her free. Left alone in the woods, she wandered for weeks, oblivious now to night or day, slipping deeper and deeper into delirium as her body wasted away. When she thought she would go no further, a familiar music filled her ears as a brilliant light filled the sky. She crept toward them as best she could and stumbled upon a lonesome organist hammering out a tune. A banana boat sat in front of him, primed and ready for takeoff. Step right up, he shouted. "Take a trip to the moon." He grinned at Minnie and motioned her closer. "It's the last ride of the night," he whispered, "and we've only room for one." Minnie tried to respond, but her words were drowned by tears as she stepped right up and sailed away to be with her Ham in the moon. Fiend.